Hello, my name is Alanis. I am 22 years old and I'm a postgraduate student in Leeds. And I'm filming this today to tell you a little bit about how a few years ago I was selected as part of the INTOPs process for Southwest England to go on an international trip with Girl Guiding UK. The first question is, where did I go? I went to the Netherlands. I went to a big jamboree there called Roverway. This was in 2018. Roverway is a big, as I said, jamboree that's held, I think, every 4 years, maybe every 2 years. I think it's every 4 years actually, in Europe, and it's made up of European scouts and guides. Who was on the trip? Again, it was made up of a lot of European contingents. So our group that was all doing the same activities as us was made up of about 6 or 7 nationalities, I think. We had one person who was selected to be our sort of group representative when it came to the UK. There was lots and lots of groups of us across the UK contingent, but generally it was made up of a mixture of nationalities. What was the best bit? The best bit for me was probably the big opening party that we had. All the sort of jamborees and big scout and guide events have a big opening ceremony, which is kind of like this one was kind of like a concert. So it was a big opening party that was a lot of fun. And I also really enjoyed the opportunity to not only get to speak to people from cultures and countries different from us, but also we got to trade with them, trade badges and belongings and cultural items, which was really, really good fun. The funniest thing that happened, I think, was in our group, we had a couple of days in a row where the British had struggled to get some of the best food because queuing as a cultural thing to England. So we had a lot of fun trying to teach the Italians and the Spanish and some of the other Europeans queuing and waiting in a line. The hardest thing that happened, I think, came a lot down to communication and the language barrier. We, in our group alone, there was probably between 6 and 10 languages collectively. Some people spoke a lot of English, some people spoke almost none. So communicating really had to get creative. And I think another hard thing for me as well was in our group, I think when you travel, it's definitely good to keep in mind that you might have health issues that come up, especially when it's the summer and it's very, very hot. What was the food like? The food was incredibly varied. There were food tents at the event from countries all over Europe. My particular favourite was the Polish food tent, but there was also German food, Swedish food. Not to mention, in our own patrols, we obviously had Italian food in lots of different cultures. What did I learn? I think I learned overall that it's okay to try new things. It's okay to try foods that seem a bit odd or that you wouldn't necessarily think of trying normally. And it's okay to try things that you wouldn't ever usually do in your normal life. But I also learned through learning a bit of self-confidence on the trip that it is totally okay to just know what your comfort zone is and be prepared to experiment outside of it, but also be confident in yourself and what you know you like to do. And would I go again? I think absolutely I would go again any time. Obviously not during a pandemic, but I would 100% go again. I think this opportunity was incredible, really life-changing, and taught me a lot about not only myself, but cultures and people that I wouldn't have known about before.